The obsessive campus beauty once declared that whoever scored higher than her on an exam would become her boyfriend. So, during the monthly exam, terrified, you closed your eyes and picked C for every answer. You thought you had safely avoided it this time. But when the scores came out, you were solidly ranked first in the entire school. Panicked, you packed overnight and prepared to run. This obsessive campus beauty was the heiress to the Mi group and an investor in Modu University. If this ice-cold heiress set her sights on you, there could be no good ending. But you had still miscalculated. Before you even made it out of the dorm, her bodyguards tied you up like a wrapped dumpling. From then on, you lived a miserable life of black stockings and white socks by day, and whips and dripping wax by night. Mi Cai's gaze was icy. Her sharp little canine teeth sank straight into your lip. The taste of blood spread through your mouth. You struggled nonstop, but the ropes were tied too tightly. You had no chance of breaking free. It went on for several long minutes, until you gave up resisting. Only then did Mi Cai sneer darkly. No one has ever dared to stand me up. Yun Mo, you've got some nerve. But the more you resist, the more interested I become in you. Cowering in the corner of the bed, you cursed at her. Are you out of your mind? This is the men's dorm. Didn't I just take first place from you? I'll let you have it next time, all right. At that, Mi Cai's expression darkened further. You said you'd let me have it. Are you saying I'm inferior to you? Her cold eyes locked onto you, as if she could see straight through you. For some reason, you felt guilty. You wanted to argue, but her 3 bodyguards were glaring viciously at you. Who wouldn't be scared? If only you hadn't dozed off during the exam. Now, getting first place had gotten you dragged into this mess. Mi Cai clapped her hands and ordered the bodyguards, you have 5 minutes. I want to see him downstairs. Outside the men's dorm, a red Maybach was parked there. Its vivid bodywork screamed luxury. In the lavishly furnished back seat, Mi Cai crossed her long, slender legs and raised her hand to check the time. 1 minute left. The next second, you were thrown inside, landing at Mi Cai's feet. Mi Cai looked down at you from above, then lifted her foot and pressed it onto your head. A cold smile curled across her lips. Are you satisfied with this treatment? Inside, you cursed, damn it. This woman really was a deranged pervert. You pleaded aloud, miss. What is it about me that you like? I'll change it, okay? Are you really that unhappy being with me? Mi Cai was slightly angered and stared at you with a dangerous look. You frowned. Then, why do you want to be with me? Until yesterday, we had never even spoken once. Mi Cai suddenly smiled. Let's make a deal. I like being around outstanding people my own age. You barely qualify as one. As long as you become my boyfriend, I can give you wealth and privilege beyond your imagination. So, it is a great deal, isn't it? In Mi Cai's view, anyone with sense would accept her offer. After all, she was a campus beauty at Modu University, and her family background spoke for itself. Yet you rejected her without even thinking. Mi Cai was extremely displeased. Why? Mi Cai asked. You replied. First, you're not my type at all. Second, your so-called wealth and privilege hold no interest for me. I'm not particularly ambitious. As long as I live well, that's enough. Any more money would be wasted. Third, and finally, you looked at Mi Cai. A flicker of disgust appeared in your eyes. I have no interest in playing house. Isn't all you want some silly dating game? I'm not wasting my time on children's games. This left not only Mi Cai stunned, but even the driver focused on the road ahead. Couldn't help glancing into the rearview mirror. He silently thought, kid, you're still too young. Sure enough, the smile on Mi Cai's face vanished the next second. She stopped paying you any attention and told the driver, head straight back to the villa. Now you started to panic. Was she really taking you home tied up, just to torture you mercilessly? You shouted, let me out. Do not push me too far. You kept yelling. I'm a hook dual form champion. I've also mastered the Tianyun white bone claw for decades. Before you could finish, Mi Cai knocked you out with a chop to the neck. When you woke up, you found your limbs chained to the four corners of a bed. There was no way to break free. You thought, what the hell? What does that crazy woman want now? Just then, the silent bathroom door opened. White steam billowed out. With the steam came a captivating fragrance. You turned to look, and a flush instantly spread across your face. You squeezed your eyes shut and shouted, this is insane. Mi Cai stepped out of the bathroom. Water still dripped from her damp hair. More importantly, she wore only a thin white shirt. Fresh from the shower, the shirt was soaked by water she had not dried off. Turning it semi-transparent, it clung tightly to her body. leaving glimpses of her fair skin visible. When Mi Cai saw the fleeting blush on your face, her lips curved into a smile. Standing on the bed, she looked down at you provocatively. You kept your eyes tightly shut, your voice trembling as you shouted, "I'm warning you. Even if you can have my body, you'll never have my soul. Miss, what exactly do you want? Please let me go. I promise I won't take first place from you again. Please, let me go." Mi Cai stood barefoot on the bed. She sneered. "Didn't you say I was playing house? I'll show you now whether I'm really playing house." With that, she sat directly on your stomach. She cupped your face in both hands, then pressed her red lips to yours. Her sweet tongue soon pried your teeth apart. Your eyes flew open. Your breathing quickened. In the room, only the two of you remained. Along with the sound of heavy breathing, Mi Cai released your face and looked at you smugly. "Do you still think I'm playing house now?" You glared fiercely back at her. Mi Cai gave a light laugh. "What a stubborn mule." Then, under your terrified gaze, she asked, "Do you submit?" "No. I won't submit. I won't." "Stop, stop. I submit. I submit." An hour later, your nose was bleeding, and you finally couldn't take it anymore. Seeing this, Mi Cai smiled in satisfaction. She thought, as expected, with a stubborn mule like him, "You need a firmer approach." She asked, "So, are you willing to be my boyfriend?" "Yes." You answered immediately. As the chains loosened with a clatter, your bound limbs were finally free. You glared hatefully at the woman, gritting your teeth. You thought, "Just you wait, you crazy woman. If I don't get revenge for this, Yunmo, swear I'll have my revenge." Mi Cai watched you dawdling along behind her. She said coldly, "I think you need a little more discipline, don't you?" A shiver ran down your spine. You hurriedly quickened your pace and darted into the car. Only then did Mi Cai nod in satisfaction. She told the driver to head for Tianyun Mall. Tianyun Mall was the largest shopping center in Modu, and part of the Mi Group's holdings. Since it was the weekend, the mall was packed that day. Most visitors came in groups, making the place feel crowded. Mi Cai's beauty instantly drew countless eyes. She became the center of attention, but her eyes were fixed coldly on you as you walked ahead. You immediately felt a chill down your back. Turning around, you found Mi Cai standing still, with no intention of moving. You sheepishly walked back to her. Mi Cai shot you a glare and asked, "What are we now?" You hesitated for a moment, thinking, an uncertain boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. But that brief moment of hesitation made Mi Cai even more upset. She said icily, "Turn around." Though you had no idea what she intended, you obediently turned around. You thought, if I don't do as she says, who knows whether that crazy woman will slap me in public? The moment you turned around, Mi Cai raised her little white sneaker and viciously kicked you in the backside. Damn, completely unprepared, you were sent flying. She said coldly, "That kick was because you still don't see me as your girlfriend, and that makes me very unhappy." You were speechless. You thought, we've known each other for less than 2 days. How can I already see her as my girlfriend? Not a chance. As the onlookers gradually dispersed, your eyes darted around, and an idea flashed through your mind. You weren't at the villa now. This was the perfect chance to escape. That crazy woman was incredibly strong, but she was still a woman. She couldn't possibly outrun you. With that thought, the anger vanished from your face, replaced by a sincere smile. You walked right over and took Mi Cai's small hand. With a sheepish grin, you said, "I was immature just now. After all, we haven't known each other long. Please be the bigger person and forgive me this once." Some of Mi Cai's displeasure faded. She said, "At least you know better. I'll let you off this time." With that, she let you lead her into the mall by the hand. Two outsiders, the two of you, looked like a young couple madly in love. You were about to use the restroom as an excuse to make a run for it, when Mi Cai dragged you straight into a Rolex watch store. A female manager in a business suit approached. She respectfully said to Mi Cai, "Miss Me, how may I assist you?" Mi Cai released your hand and told the manager coldly, "Find him a suitable watch. The best one." 5 minutes later, still utterly bewildered, you were led by Mi Cai's hand out of the watch store. Except now, the value of everything you wore had risen from under 500 yuan to nearly 40 million yuan. Mi Cai leaned close to your ear. Her sweet breath brushed your ear as she said, "Now you have a watch. If you dare to be late for a date again, I promise you'll regret it for the rest of your life." Your mouth twitched. "So, she bought me such an expensive watch, just to make sure I won't be late for dates." You had to admit, Rich people really do whatever they want to get away as soon as possible. You pointed to a milk tea shop in the distance and suggested, "How about I treat you to some milk tea?" Mi Cai glanced at the milk tea shop nearby. She rarely drank such common beverages, but since this was the first time you had offered to buy her a drink, she reluctantly said, "Fine, whatever you want." Hearing that, you happily led her over. There were quite a few people in line. Mi Cai sat on a seat by the entrance to wait, while you lined up to buy the milk tea. While you had the chance, you quietly surveyed the surroundings. To map out your escape route, you casually ordered 2 cups of milk tea. After handing one to Mi Cai, you began drinking yours. Mi Cai looked at the milk tea in her hand, then at the cup you had already taken a sip from. She immediately snatched your cup away and said, "I'll drink this one." You pursed your lips, but said nothing. After waiting a while longer, when the time seemed right, you casually said, "I'm going to the restroom. Wait here for me." Mi Cai nodded without suspicion. You secretly rejoiced and jogged toward the restroom. At last, you could shake off that she-devil. Once inside the restroom, you rushed to the ventilation window and shoved it open to look down. You were on the mall's 2nd floor. With your physical condition, you could handle that height. Grabbing the window frame, you crouched on the windowsill. Then, eyeing the lawn below, you leaped down. Freedom, here I come. With a thud, you landed perfectly on the lawn. You looked back at the 2nd floor and smirked disdainfully. You thought, "You think you can keep me trapped? Go play house here by yourself." With that, you ran toward the mall exit without looking back. A youthful smile shone across your face, full of hope for the future. Suddenly, as you fled the mall under the excuse of using the restroom, a taxi happened to pull up from the distance. Without thinking, you opened the door and climbed in. You shouted to the driver, "Take me to Modu University as fast as you can." But once the door closed, you froze. The smile on your face instantly stiffened. Several burly men in black sat inside, along with Mi Cai, her face like ice. "How are you here? This shouldn't be possible. My plan was flawless. How could she have found out?" Sitting in the car, Mi Cai looked at you with a cold sneer. "You sure can run. I was wondering why you were being so obedient earlier." So, you were planning to run away. Things had come to this. So, you stopped pretending. You came clean. That's right. That was exactly what I was thinking. What are you going to do about it? If you've got the nerve, kill me. You glared at the woman, not yielding an inch in presence. Yet Mi Cai's face darkened. "Fine. Since you're so eager to die, I'll grant your wish." Mi Cai directly ordered the driver, "Drive somewhere deserted, and bury this guy." Your body gave an almost imperceptible tremble, but you kept a stubbornly calm expression. You secretly pulled your phone from your pocket and sent a message. Meanwhile, in dorm room 731 at Modu University, Jiboda was fiercely playing League of Legends. He spotted a message, "My dear son, come save your dad." A crying emoji followed it. Below was a live location, sharing your current position. It was constantly moving, heading toward the outskirts of Modu. Jiboda looked at the plea for help on his phone, then at the game that had already begun. A flicker of hesitation crossed his face. Then he slapped himself. "I'm such a jerk. I actually hesitated between my son and a game." With that, he grabbed the keys to his electric scooter and rushed out of the dorm. Half an hour later, on a deserted hill outside Modu, 3 bodyguards and the driver were grunting as they dug a pit. You were bound hand and foot and tossed aside, terror flashing in your eyes. "You're seriously doing this? Is it too late to regret it now?" You stared in disbelief at Mi Cai, still sitting in the car. As time passed, a 10-foot deep pit was soon dug. Seeing this, Mi Cai got out of the car. She crouched down, pulled the sock from your mouth, and asked, "Any last words?" "I will not fulfill them for you, but I can listen." You looked at Mi Cai with pleading eyes. "Please, miss me. I really know I was wrong this time. Please forgive me one more time." "Yes, you were wrong." Mi Cai tilted her head. The coldness in her eyes was unmistakable. "But I already gave you a chance. You chose not to value it." You started to panic. Tied to the ground, you pleaded miserably, "Please give me one more chance. I swear I'll treasure it." Mi Cai's dark eyes studied you, as though she were considering whether to give you another chance. Just then, a little electric scooter came racing over from the distance. Jiboda steered it one-handed, holding a gleaming cleaver in his left hand. He shouted, "Fear not, my son. Your father has come to save you." Seeing Jiboda appear out of nowhere, your face lit up. Confidence seemed to return, and you laughed. "Ha ha, my son. I knew I hadn't misjudged you. Hurry up and untie me. Mi Cai gave a nearby bodyguard a look. He understood and stepped directly into Jibota's path. About 2.5 minutes later, expressionless Mi Cai crouched before you and Jibota. She weighed the toy cleaver in her hand. When she let go, it even bounced twice. Your mouth twitched. You looked at Jibota, who was tied up just as tightly, veins bulging on your forehead. I asked you to save me, and you brought a lousy toy cleaver just to get yourself captured. Mi Cai watched you with amused interest. Now your helper has joined you. Feel free to try any other tricks you have. You thought, what tricks do I have left? This time, I am really done for. Jibota trembled beside you, seeing that they were about to be buried alive. He hurriedly urged you, bro, I think you should just give in. Your girl is gorgeous and loaded. Other people would kill for this chance. But I'm a full-grown man. You expect me to play house with a woman? Let me tell you, that is impossible. Mi Cai finally lost all patience. She stood up. She ordered, bury them. With that, she turned and headed for the car, without pausing for even a moment. Damn it, you're so stubborn. Jibota shouted at you in frustration. Couldn't you just pretend to give in first? We could argue after we got out of here. Watching the two bodyguards approach, you began to lose your nerve. Was your glorious reputation really going to be buried alive in this godforsaken ravine? Jibota kept loudly urging you. Given already. I'm still so young. I don't want to die. I haven't even deleted my browser history and my collection of 100,000 videos. Just as Mi Cai opened the car door, you finally shouted, Mi Cai. I was wrong. But Mi Cai did not react. She merely held the door open, standing quietly with her back to you, as if waiting for something. Then inspiration struck. You shouted again, wife. I was wrong. At those words, Mi Cai finally smiled. Then she turned to the bodyguards and said, untie them. Get them in the car. You and Jibota finally sighed in relief. Before long, you were tossed into the car, while Jibota was left miserably to ride his little electric scooter back. The car slowly pulled away. The doors were immediately locked. Mi Cai pressed you against the car window. Trembling, you asked, what are you doing? Mi Cai wrapped an arm around your neck, then climbed right onto your lap. Kiss me, she said softly. You immediately shook your head and refused. You thought, a guy has to protect himself out there. Besides, I'm still a virgin. Mi Cai's expression darkened. She gripped your neck with one hand. Do you have the wrong idea? I'm ordering you, not asking for your opinion. Your face flushed red. You could only give in. Fine, I'll kiss you. Is that enough? Mi Cai leaned against you again, her voice turning gentle once more. Hold my waist and kiss me. There was no other choice. Against your will, you slowly wrapped your arms around Mi Cai's soft waist, lowered your head, and kissed her red lips. You had barely brushed them with an awkward kiss when she held your head in place. Then she took the offensive, with Mi Cai taking the lead. Your eyes widened as you tried to push her away, but no amount of force did any good. Helpless, you clenched your teeth. After several unsuccessful attempts, Mi Cai punched you in the stomach. The pain made you open your mouth instinctively. It was over. Your innocence was completely lost. A long while passed. As the car re-entered the city, Mi Cai rested her face against your heaving chest. I hope you've learned your lesson this time. From now on, when I tell you to do something, you do it. Do not try to defy me. Understand? You stayed silent, feeling completely dead inside. You could only let Mi Cai remain on your lap. The car finally stopped at the gates of Modu University. Mi Cai said flatly, give me your phone. You pursed your lips, took out your phone, and handed it over. Mi Cai returned it moments later, but there was a new number on it, saved as wife. With her arms crossed, Mi Cai warned, if you dare ignore my calls from now on, you're dead. Before leaving, she shot you a threatening look. What the hell is going on? Dejected, you headed toward the dormitory. Your future looked completely bleak. You returned to the dorm, and had just lain down on your bed when your phone rang. It had only been a few minutes. That woman was calling you already. You angrily took out your phone, only to find it was not that vicious woman Mi Cai, but your high school friend, Ruyan. Yun Mo, where are you? In my dorm. I was just about to sleep. Anything wrong? You asked. Ruyan smiled. Didn't we agree before to go hiking together? I just got word that the sophomore classrooms will be renovated in a few days. So since we have the day off the day after tomorrow, let's go hiking together. I know you've applied for a leave of absence, so you must have plenty of time now, right? There was a faintly threatening note in Ruyan's voice. Your mouth twitched. Are all women this overbearing these days? One is like this, and the other is the same. How is a guy supposed to live like this? Still, you agreed. You lay back on your bed and said gloomily, "My son, we can't let this go. Why don't we find a chance to get revenge?" Jibota was watching an adult movie and mocked without looking back. She's the Mi family's eldest daughter. You've got guts even thinking about it. You're lucky she hasn't come after you. I just can't swallow this humiliation. I was nearly buried alive. I won't rest until I get even. If you'll help me, I'll give you my entire private collection. How about it? Jibota's eyes immediately lit up. You're serious? Cut the crap. Are you in or not? I'm in. Jibota immediately stopped watching the adult film, walked over, and sat beside your bed. What's the plan? He wanted revenge too, but Mi Cai's influence was far too great. He had no idea where to start. You pull the yellow fertilizer sack from under the bed, a sinister smile spreading across your face. Damn, where did you get a fertilizer sack? Don't worry about that. I don't believe those bodyguards will stay by that woman's side forever. She's just a little stronger than most. If the two of us take her on together, how could we possibly fail to subdue her? Excitement flashed in Jibota's eyes. Fine, it's settled. When do we make our move? Tonight? I'll lure her out. As long as she doesn't bring bodyguards, she'll be completely at our mercy. Thinking of Mi Cai's domineering nature, and how she'd look trapped inside that fertilizer sack, you wondered what her expression would be. At that thought, you couldn't help letting out a smug, wicked chuckle. After you and Jibota finalized the revenge plan, you called Mi Cai. Mi Cai was soaking in a bath at her villa when she received your call. She was surprised. She hadn't expected you to call her first. Over the phone, you said, I want to talk to you. Can we meet? Mi Cai's eyes sparkled at once. What is it you want to talk about our future? You didn't deny it. Not wanting to give yourself away, you said directly, I'll wait for you by Qingqing Lake. Come alone. With that, you hung up. You're getting shy now. Mi Cai smiled and saved the call log. Then she quickly changed and set out, her face full of anticipation. Half an hour later, by Qingqing Lake, Jibota wore a black hood over his head, with the yellow fertilizer sack beside him. Nervously, he asked, will this really work? If anything goes wrong, we're both finished. You patted his shoulder. Relax. That woman is obsessed with me. She'll definitely come. Just then, a car in the distance drove straight toward you. Damn, she's here already. Jibota didn't hesitate. He rushed into the little wooden cabin nearby. A red Maybach pulled up right before you. Mi Cai stepped out. She eagerly threw her arms around you, pressing her whole body against yours. Baby, you missed me this soon. You hadn't expected this woman to greet you with such intimate contact. Your face couldn't help turning red. Of course I missed you. At the same time, you gave Jibota, hidden in the cabin, a hand signal. Then you led Mi Cai to sit on a bench. You asked, I just want to know, what is it you even like about me? With her back to the cabin, Mi Cai smiled and said, of course, I like everything about you. To keep her attention on you, your expression suddenly turned grave. You told her, I like you too. Sure enough, Mi Cai froze when she heard that. Meanwhile, Jibota had quietly slipped behind her. He grabbed the fertilizer sack and tried to throw it over Mi Cai's head. You, too, wore a triumphant smile. You were already imagining how to make her pay. But Mi Cai seemed to have seen it coming. She rose and took 2 steps forward, making Jibota miss completely. Her face instantly turned cold. I was wondering why you suddenly asked me out. So this was all for revenge. You and Jibota exchanged a glance, then charged at her together. There was no turning back now. Tonight, you had to take this woman down. Mi Cai merely gave a calm, icy laugh. A few minutes later, you and Jibota sat sprawled on the ground, bruised and battered. Your clothes were torn to rags. The two of you began begging relentlessly. Ma'am, we were wrong. Please spare us. With a black eye, Jibota immediately sold you out. Yunmo planned this whole thing. It has nothing to do with me. You didn't look much better either. Several parts of your body were already swollen. You pleaded. Honey, I really was wrong. Please let me go. Mi Cai tossed the fertilizer sack at your feet. Get inside it yourself. You hesitated. This had been meant for Mi Cai. Now, you had truly brought this on yourself. You asked, Can I not get in? Mi Cai took out a small knife and tossed it onto the ground. Get stabbed or climb into the sack. Your choice. With no choice, you picked up the sack and climbed inside. Seeing this, Jibota thoughtfully handed her a rope. With a snicker, he said, "Ma'am, use this to tie it up. It'll hold tight for sure." Once the mouth of the sack was fully tied shut, Mi Cai lifted the sack with you inside using one hand and headed for the car. And just like that, the farce of kidnappers being kidnapped came to an end. The red Maybach sped away from the lakeside. Jibota stood there silently, mourning you in his heart. "Farewell, brother. That private collection of yours, I'll hold on to it for you." Tianyun Villa District. The red Maybach slowly pulled up in front of a villa's courtyard. Two bodyguards immediately stepped forward and respectfully opened the car door. Mi Cai got out of the driver's seat, her face cold. She coldly ordered the two bodyguards, "Clean him up, then bring him to my room." With that, she headed upstairs. In the second-floor bedroom, Mi Cai sat listlessly on the bed, her chin resting on her knees. She stared down at her pale little feet, lost in thought. The scene looked rather lonely. She sat alone on the bed. This was how she had lived for 20 years, drifting through a purposeless life, with nothing truly exciting in it. So she came first in everything, but none of it was what she wanted. A life whose end she could already see held nothing but boredom, until you effortlessly surpassed her in academics. As she pondered, there came a knock at the door. Then came your loud shouts, "Let me go. I've trained in Wing Chun. Watch out, or I'll use my ultimate move and knock you flat." The bedroom door was pushed open. Two bodyguards carried you in, one in front and one behind. Mi Cai came back to herself. She said flatly, "Throw him on the bed." The bodyguards respectfully tossed you onto the bed. Then they left without a word. You were free again, but you did not dare make a scene in front of Mi Cai. Mi Cai hugged her knees, watching you with calm eyes. "I'm in a bad mood right now. You'd better behave tonight. Otherwise, I can't promise I'll go easy on you." With that, she lifted the covers herself and lay on her side. Your eyes darted about. After waiting a full half hour, you quietly slipped out of bed, planning to use this chance to escape. But just as you reached the doorknob, Mi Cai, facing away from you on the bed, spoke. "You've got 5 minutes. If you're not back in bed by then, I'll show you what cruelty really means." At her words, your hand trembled. In the end, you sighed. You obediently walked back, lifted a corner of the covers, and slipped underneath. But the moment you closed your eyes, a warm, soft body immediately wrapped around you. One of her legs curled around yours too. She held you tightly like a doll. You lay in bed, too afraid to move. Inside, you wanted to cry, but no tears would come. Mi Cai kept her eyes closed, her body pressed tightly against your back. She breathed in the fresh lemon scent on you, seemingly unable to get enough of it. After an unknown length of time, steady breathing sounded behind you. Before you knew it, you closed your eyes as well. You did not know when you fell asleep. When you opened your eyes, it was already morning. No one was beside you, but the bed still held her warmth. A set of men's clothes had been left by the bed, just from the fabric and texture. You could tell they were expensive. Downstairs, Mi Cai was having breakfast. She checked the time. It was nearly 8 o'clock. That lazybones was still not up. Just as she was about to go upstairs and teach you a lesson, you came downstairs, yawning. A maid hurried over and pulled out a chair for you. You sat down before Mi Cai, feeling slightly awkward. It was your first time receiving such lavish treatment. Soon, the maid served you a steak, with a glass of milk beside it. Mi Cai set down her knife and fork, then wiped her mouth with a napkin. She propped up her chin and quietly stared at you. After what happened last night, you were not quite as afraid of her anymore. You thought, she'd already treated me like that. What else is there to fear? At that moment, you looked at the steak Mi Cai had left on her plate. You asked curiously, "Do you always eat this little?" "I don't have much appetite," Mi Cai answered blandly, still staring directly at you. You cut off a piece of steak and put it in your mouth. After chewing twice, you found the taste rather unappealing. So you told Mi Cai, "I'm not used to this steak. Can I prepare it my own way?" Hearing that you could cook, Mi Cai felt a flicker of interest. She nodded. Of course. You took your steak straight to the kitchen. Under the chef's astonished gaze, you skillfully turned the steak into stir-fried beef with scallions. Then you returned to the table and dug in, bite after bite. It looked incredibly delicious. When Mi Cai caught the aroma, she could not help swallowing. Then she snatched the plate from your hands. You cried, "What are you doing? Weren't you full?" Mi Cai ignored you. She picked up your fork and speared a piece of beef. She put it in her mouth. After only to choose, delight flashed in her eyes. "This actually tastes pretty good." Who knew a jerk like you could cook this well? Then, as you ground your teeth, in frustration, Mi Cai took the entire plate of stir-fried beef with scallions and polished it off. Then she contentedly handed you back the empty plate. You could not take it anymore. You're going too far. But before you could finish, Mi Cai gave you a cold glance. Her eyes were full of warning. You had no choice but to swallow the rest of your words. Silently, you returned to the kitchen and made yourself another serving. That was how she tormented you all weekend. Monday, Mi Cai held your hand as she led you toward the classroom building. Along the way, the other students kept looking you over. Their looks held both envy and pity. You said awkwardly, "I've already applied for independent study. Why don't you go to class by yourself?" Mi Cai seemed to remember something. She turned to look at you and asked calmly, "You came first in the monthly exams just so you could apply for independent study." You answered, "More or less. Mostly because I learned the university courses long ago. School is too boring every day." Mi Cai glanced at you. "Then go back to your dorm and get ready. Pack your things. You're moving in with me this afternoon." The moment you heard that, alarm bells rang in your head. She was already thinking every day about how to put you in your place. If you moved in together, there was no telling how much suffering awaited you. You quickly refused. "No, absolutely not." "Well, we just met, and we'd already be living together. Isn't that moving too fast? Let's wait a while." Mi Cai studied your profile for a moment. She did not force the issue. She did like you a little after all. After so many years, you were the first man who had genuinely interested her. So Mi Cai had plenty of patience. "All right, I'll call you after class. If you dare not answer, you're dead." After saying that, Mi Cai headed toward the classroom building. She wondered whether she should apply for independent study too. You returned to the dorm. You began preparing for tomorrow's mountain trip with Ruyan, thinking that for the next 3 days, you would not have to see Mi Cai's icy face. The corners of your mouth could not help curving upward. You, Ruyan, and Boda were all members of the camping club. Of course, there were also the nominal members, Ruyan's best friends. Boda was packing his luggage as well. There was no way he would miss a mountain climbing trip. You casually asked, "What time is our ticket tomorrow morning?" Ruyan didn't tell you? Boda gave you a puzzled look. "It isn't a morning ticket. Our high-speed train leaves at midnight tonight. We'll arrive there first thing tomorrow morning." At that, you secretly rejoiced. The sooner, the better. The next day, at Tianyun Villa, Mi Cai looked at the steak before her. It seemed utterly tasteless. It was nowhere near as good as the stir-fried beef with scallions you had made yourself. Besides, eating alone felt unbearably lonely. She had to bring that guy back. Otherwise, she would not feel at ease. With that thought, Mi Cai took out her phone and called you. But the next second, her face instantly darkened. "Hello. The number you have dialed is currently busy. Please try again later." The call had been rejected instantly. It had not even rung once. What did that mean? Mi Cai slammed her fist onto the dining table. Her expression visibly darkened. "Fine. Just fine. Yunmo, you've got some nerve. You actually dared to block me. Men really do need to be taught a proper lesson." Mi Cai instantly lost her appetite. She grabbed her coat and walked out of the villa, her face dark as a thundercloud. "Yunmo, you've really done it now. You already have a girlfriend, yet you dared to go hiking with another woman. Worse still, you never even told me." Inside, she was like a volcano about to erupt. She could not wait to make you taste her punishment. Near noon, after a long climb, you and Ruyan finally reached the summit of Yushan. Looking at the misty clouds below, Ruyan spread her arms wide and drew a deep breath. "Yunmo, we've known each other for nearly 5 years, right? About that long. What's wrong?" You turned to her in confusion. Ruyan took another deep breath, her eyes fixed seriously on yours. Gathering her courage, she said, "Yunmo." Just as her final 3 words were about to leave her lips, the roar of helicopter blades suddenly sounded. The thunderous noise echoed around everyone, making them cover their ears. The words Ruyan had been about to say came to a halt. She looked toward the source of the sound. A state-of-the-art helicopter kept rising higher until it hovered directly before you and Ruyan. You suddenly realized what was happening. Your face immediately changed. "Damn, this is bad." Sure enough, The helicopter door opened the next second. Mi Cai jumped out, her face ice-cold. Her gaze quickly locked onto you. And you, Ruyan, at your side. So, you really came out here to chase some random woman. Just wait until I deal with you. You immediately ran down the mountain. In a flash, you vanished from sight. You had to be joking. If she caught you now, you would be dead for sure. You dare run? Mi Cai glared and chased after you. Her speed was not the least bit slower than your desperate sprint. Everyone stared at the absurd scene in stunned disbelief. Yunmo, if you've got guts, stop right there. You were already beginning to pant. You shouted back, only an idiot would stop running. If you've got guts, stop chasing me. It had taken you all morning to climb to the summit, but it took only half an hour to race back down. You looked at the ticket gate not far ahead, then glanced behind you. That woman was nowhere in sight. You thought you had finally shaken her off. But before you could celebrate, several bodyguards in black suddenly burst out from the ticket office. Damn it, that's playing dirty. Before long, a bodyguard carried you back over his shoulder as you gave up all hope. You were shoved into a red Bentley. Several bodyguards patrolled around the car. Miss, we've brought the young master back to the car. Mi Cai took a drink of water and walked straight to the car. She got inside. Then, with a bang, she slammed the door shut. Before long, miserable screams rang out from inside the car, along with your pleas for mercy. Miss, please don't hit my face. I just wanted to get out and relax during my break. I accidentally blocked you. Face grim, Mi Cai pressed her bare foot onto your face, pinning you down firmly. Tell me, who was that woman sitting with you? You trembled as you said, She's only a friend. We're really not in the kind of relationship you're thinking of. Mi Cai's delicate foot remained pressed against your face, pressing down harder and harder. Are you sure? If you dare lie to me, I'll throw you into the sea to feed the fish. It's all true. How would I dare lie to you? Pain brought cold sweat pouring down your face. You nodded hurriedly. After staring into your eyes for a long while, Mi Cai finally removed her foot. She rolled down the window and coldly told the bodyguards outside, drive back to Modu. Soon, the cars drove away one after another. Liu, Ruyan, and Ji both arrived too late. All they saw were fading taillights. As the car sped down the highway, you used bandages to tend your wounds. That woman was far too ruthless. She showed no mercy at all. Mi Cai suddenly leaned toward you and lay directly in your arms, breathing in the lemony scent on you. Her heart seemed to settle at once. She pressed her face to your chest and whispered, hold me. You were helpless. You could only put down the bandages and gently hold Mi Cai in your arms, breathing in her delicate fragrance. Your mouth went dry. Glancing aside, you saw the bottled water Mi Cai had carelessly tossed aside when she got in. It was still more than half full. You picked it up, just as you raised it for a drink. Mi Cai suddenly snatched it from your hand. She lifted her chin. What? Thirsty? You could only nod. You had no way to handle this little witch. Mi Cai sat up slightly, waving the bottle in her hand. Then she took a big gulp and held it in her mouth. Without swallowing, she looked at you with teasing eyes and pointed at her red lips. Her meaning was obvious. If you wanted water, you had to take it from her mouth. You shook your head. Forget it. You drink it. At that, Mi Cai's face instantly turned cold. She swallowed the water in her mouth and threatened coldly, if you don't drink now, I guarantee you won't get a drop of water for 3 days. With that, she took another large gulp and held it in her mouth. Then she opened the window and threw the bottle outside. The car fell silent, just as Mi Cai prepared to swallow this mouthful as well. You finally moved. You kissed Mi Cai's red lips. You took all the water she held in her mouth. Your face flushed slightly, and your eyes instinctively turned toward the window. But how could Mi Cai let you off so easily? She immediately kissed you again. 2.5 hours later, Mi Cai lay limp in your arms, her face flushed. She looked at you with a complicated gaze. In your mind, you instinctively replayed everything that had just happened. You had already shared something so intimate. From now on, ignoring this woman would probably be impossible. You were not the kind of man who took what he wanted and ran. Although, she had certainly tempted you just now. You could only blame yourself for giving in. Mi Cai stared at you unhappily. Why do you seem so dissatisfied with me? You trembled slightly and quickly shook your head. No, don't misunderstand. I just think it's a little regrettable. We finally made it to the summit, but we ran off before we could enjoy the view. Mi Cai studied you closely for a long moment. She snorted. Don't even think about returning to your dorm tonight. Move in with me instead. Whatever you need, I'll take you shopping tomorrow. So, You do not get any ideas about running away again. You were about to protest when Mi Cai wrapped her arms around your neck and forcibly kissed you for another 3.5 minutes. You belong to me. She was staking her claim. Until I get tired of you, even if you run to the ends of the earth, I will drag you back. You gave a bitter smile. Then you had better get tired of me soon and spare me. Give up on that idea now. Mi Cai said, I am very persistent about the things I like. I might never get tired of you. Not even in a lifetime. Mi Cai suddenly turned sideways, looking at you smugly. If I am in a good mood, I might even reward you handsomely. Heat flared through your body again. Thankfully, you had already returned to the villa. The driver tactfully opened the door and stepped away. She was still sitting on your lap, her red lips slightly parted. Clinging to you, she pleaded coquettishly, baby, carry me inside. You pursed your lips. You wanted to ask, do you not have legs? But you held it in. You picked Mi Cai up in your arms and carried her straight upstairs. You placed her on the bed and turned to leave. Stopped. Mi Cai's face darkened. Where do you think you are going? You scratched your head awkwardly. I will sleep in the guest room. What? At those words, an icy aura radiated from Mi Cai. She grabbed your collar and asked coldly, what did you just say? Say that again. Your confidence faltered. You hurriedly corrected yourself. I said I am hungry. I want to go downstairs and make something to eat. Only then did Mi Cai realize she was hungry too. After all, she had gone out to catch you early that morning and had barely eaten anything since. She let go and wrapped her arms around your waist instead. I thought you were trying to run away. Go on. Make me a serving too. You breathed a sigh of relief and immediately rushed out to the kitchen. Mi Cai watched your hasty retreat, a sly smile appearing on her face. She turned and opened the wardrobe. Inside were rows of neatly arranged stockings. White, black, and fishnet stockings were all there. Every kind imaginable. After looking at her long legs, Mi Cai finally selected a pair of black stockings and put them on. You quickly made 2 servings of fried rice. 2.5 minutes later, you carried the fried rice upstairs. Without turning around, you called to Mi Cai under the covers, hey, dinner is ready. But before you could sit down, 2 small hands hugged you from behind. Mi Cai's gentle voice came from behind you. Feed me. Okay, you jolted and agreed, sure. But, could you let go of me first? This could easily get out of hand. Instead, Mi Cai sat directly on your lap. Those black stockings were impossible to ignore. You struggled to look away, but the silky touch against your legs kept tugging at your heart every moment. Mi Cai gave you a mischievous smile. So, do they look good? They are nothing special. Awkwardly, you picked up the bowl and began feeding her bite by bite. Mi Cai obediently sat on your lap and ate. Now, and then, she swung her long legs. Fortunately, your remarkable willpower got you through it. I will wash the dishes. You should get some sleep first. With that, you tried to flee this den of wolves as quickly as possible. But before you could stand, Mi Cai's red lips blocked your way. The dishes can wait. What do you think you should be doing right now? But just as she finished speaking, Mi Cai suddenly felt lightheaded and collapsed immediately. You hurriedly reached out and caught her, looking at her sleeping profile. You sighed in relief. With a smug smile, you said, I did not expect it to work so quickly. That kid Boda really did not lie to me. This bottle of extra-strength sleeping pills guarantees that with just 1 pill, you will sleep an entire day. You laid Mi Cai on the bed, tucked her in, then happily left the room. Under cover of darkness, you slipped away unnoticed, climbing down through the guest room window. Once on the ground, you glanced at the guards patrolling nearby and casually headed for the gate. Before long, a patrol spotted you and stopped you. The lead guard was the very man who had caught you earlier that day. Sir, heading back this late. He knew his young mistress thought highly of you, so his tone was naturally much more respectful. You gave a bitter smile and feigned helplessness. I made your young mistress angry, did I not? She told me to go back and sleep at my place tonight. The captain gave a knowing look. So that is what happened. Then take care, sir. As he spoke, he stepped aside. He did not doubt your story at all. After all, he had seen Mi Cai's temper. You breathed a sigh of relief and calmly walked toward the villa's exit. The next day, harsh sunlight fell across Mi Cai's face. Still asleep, she instinctively rolled over, reaching out to hold someone, but found only empty air. She stared in confusion at the empty space beside her. She realized almost instantly that you must have tampered with the fried rice. Damn it, you actually dared drug me. As the heiress of the Mi group, Someone had actually dared to drug her. Damn you, Yunmo. This time, you are dead. Mi Cai went downstairs, her face ice-cold. She got straight into her red Maybach and sped toward Modu University. Upon arriving at the university, the furious Mi Cai headed directly for the dormitory building. Her bodyguards followed close behind. They soon reached your dorm room. There were no classes that day, so at that moment, Jibota was fast asleep, hugging his blanket. Every so often, a lewd chuckle escaped his lips. Just then, the dorm door was kicked open. The wooden door slammed hard against the wall, making a deafening crash. What the hell? Who kicked in the door? Startled awake, Jibota angrily turned toward the door. He grumbled, I was just about to kiss her. Damn it. But before he could finish, the bodyguards rushing in through the door frightened him into swallowing the rest of his words. He quickly curled up under the blanket, trembling. Mi Cai's sharp gaze swept across the dorm room. Mi Cai asked coldly, Where is Yunmo? Where is that bastard? Trembling, Jibota poked half his head out from under the blanket. He looked ready to cry. I do not know. Did you not take him away? He has not come back yet. Mi Cai walked over to your bed. She reached out and touched the sheets. They were cold. It seemed you really had not returned. With a cold expression, she ordered Jibota, Call Yunmo. Ask him where he is. Jibota, curled up on the bed, did not dare hesitate. He quickly called you. Meanwhile, at an inn in a small town outside the city, you answered the call. Recognizing Jibota's voice, you asked, Hello? Dazi. What is it? Jibota, on the other end, had only spoken after Mi Cai signaled him with her eyes. His voice carried an unmistakable tremor. Where the hell did you run off to? You did not even come back last night. You immediately caught the unease in his voice. Your brow furrowed. Dazi, is someone else there with you? Hearing that, Mi Cai picked up a fruit knife beside her in the dorm room. She fixed Jibota with a threatening stare. Jibota shuddered all over. He hurriedly replied into the phone, No. You are overthinking it. Now you were completely certain someone else was with him. It had to be that woman, Mi Cai, who had come looking for you. Luckily, you had the foresight not to return to the dorm. At that thought, your eyes shifted. You chuckled. All right. Daz has even learned to speak in reverse now. Tell me honestly, did that crazy woman come knocking? Inside the dorm, the cold blade was already pressed to Jibota's throat. If Mi Cai applied even a little more pressure, it would pierce straight in. Jibota was cursing you to hell and back in his mind. Damn you, Yunmo. To hell with your reverse talk. Are you trying to get me killed? So you can inherit my sperm bank. But through gritted teeth, all he could say was, There really is not anyone here. Stop making wild guesses. Feigning surprise, you teased. Oh, from the sound of it, it is not just her. Those bodyguards are there too, right? With that, you hung up. Then, delighted, you lay back down for more sleep. Mi Cai had completely run out of patience. She waved to the bodyguards, then turned and headed downstairs. Before long, Jibota's screams rang out from the dorm. Once she was back in the car, Mi Cai made a call. She asked coldly, Well, did you find him? A respectful voice came through the phone. We found him, miss. We hacked into Mr. Muji's account. His last transaction yesterday was at an inn in the outskirts. Send me the location, Mi Cai ordered. She was already considering how she would punish you. I patiently tried to respect you, Mi Cai thought. Yet this bastard only became more and more outrageous. This time, she would have to properly teach him to submit. Meanwhile, you were still sleeping soundly, completely unaware that a turning point in your life was about to arrive. At an inn on the outskirts of Modu, the innkeeper's mouth was sealed with tape. He crouched obediently in a corner. Mi Cai went straight upstairs. The icy aura around her was terrifying. Soon, she stood outside your room. She coldly ordered the bodyguards behind her. Without my orders, no one is to come near this room. No matter what you hear, do not come in. She entered the room and found you still sprawled on the bed, fast asleep. A smile occasionally touched your lips, as though you were dreaming of something fun. Mi Cai did not rush to act. Instead, after locking the door, she sat on the edge of the bed, took off her shoes, revealing her pale, delicate feet. Then she climbed onto the bed. You are sleeping quite soundly. Mi Cai looked down at you from above. Then she raised her foot and stomped hard on your stomach. The next second, your agonized scream filled the room. Even the guards outside felt sorry for you. You curled up in pain, staring in disbelief at Mi Cai, inches away. How are you here? Mi Cai sneered. In all of Modu, If I want to. There is nowhere in Modu I cannot find you. As she spoke, she crouched slightly. With one hand, she grabbed your collar and effortlessly lifted you up. A chilling frost filled her eyes. Have I not been good enough to you? I even let you touch me, yet you still tried to run away. Am I really that unbearable to you? You were just about to explain, when a fierce gust swept past your ear. A sharp slap rang through the room. Your right cheek, visibly, bore a red handprint. Your anger instantly erupted. You roared at Mi Cai. Are you insane? Mi Cai's gaze turned icy. Today, I will not be the only one going insane. You will too, except you will be driven mad by me. Let us see if you dare run again. Your anguished cries kept echoing through the silent room. The sharp slaps were relentless. Mi Cai was straddling you. Her face twisted with madness as she punched you again and again. That is for running. That is for disobeying me. And that is for flirting with other women. You had wanted to fight back, but after trying a few times, you realized your strength and hers were not even close to the same level. After beating you for more than 10 minutes, Mi Cai seemed to be getting tired. She finally paused. Slightly out of breath, she looked at you. You looked at Mi Cai and said through gritted teeth, "You crazy woman. Just you wait." Seeing that you still would not submit, Mi Cai smiled. There was something manic and unsettling in that smile. She reached out and stroked your face again. You instinctively closed your eyes, but a warm, soft touch brushed your face. Mi Cai's eyes suddenly softened. She gazed at you, looking almost captivated. Before you could react, her passionate lips pressed against yours. Her left hand held both your hands firmly in place. You could not break free. Mi Cai licked the corner of her lips. She sneered. If you do not want more pain, do not struggle. Otherwise, I cannot promise I will hold back. After struggling for a while, you closed your eyes in resignation. You gave up resisting completely. You let that crazy woman, Mi Cai, do whatever she wanted with you. This lesson lasted for over an hour. When it was finally over, even Mi Cai lay beside you, panting heavily. As for you, you looked half dead. There was no longer any desire for life in your eyes. You had been tormented beyond recognition. Mi Cai was very satisfied. She stroked your cheek and smiled. Tell me, what exactly do you dislike about me? I am so good to you. If it were someone else, they would never get close to. Someone of my status in their lifetime. You stared blankly at the ceiling. Your voice was frighteningly calm. If you mean beating me up 3 times after knowing me for 3 days, then I do not think I could ever accept that. Mi Cai pinched your cheek. Frowning, she said unhappily. Did I not reward you? Do not think you can say whatever you want just because I am tired. Watch your words. This time is a lesson. I told you, before I get tired of you, even if you run to the ends of the earth, I will find you. Do not doubt that I mean it. You rolled your eyes dismissively. Then, another sharp slap rang out in the room. This damn woman. You truly had nothing left to say to her. Inside the speeding Maybach, you looked bitterly at Mi Cai sitting on your lap, her arms wrapped around your neck. What? Are you unhappy? Mi Cai glanced at you from the corner of her eye. There was not a hint of threat in her voice, but you knew that if you nodded, you would probably get slapped twice more the next second. Seeing this, Mi Cai snorted coldly. She pressed her face to your chest, looking exactly like a sweet, obedient girl. She did not look at all like the kind of woman who would abuse her partner. Honestly, if this woman were not so violent, you might actually have fallen for her. But things never work out that way. One beating every day was still painfully fresh in your mind. At this rate, Mi Cai seemed completely attached to you. You simply could not understand it. A wealthy heiress like her should have been refined and gentle, right? How could her violent streak be so severe? Just then, neither Mi Cai nor the bodyguards following behind noticed the black car behind them to the right. 3 men sat inside. They had been watching you the entire time. The scrawny man in the passenger seat picked up his phone and said, "We have found her. This is a good opportunity. The eldest Miss Mi only has 3 or 4 bodyguards with her, plus a young man. The 2 are very intimate. They are probably a couple. What do you think? Shall we make a move?" After a moment of silence on the other end, the caller finally made up his mind. "Do not act rashly yet. I will bring people over right away. Keep a close eye on the target." Half an hour later, the Maybach stopped at the mall entrance. Mi Cai got out first. Then, she turned to you, numb from all her torment, and held out her hand. You knew she was doing it to keep you from running. So, you had no choice but to take her pale little hand. Your fingers intertwined, and you walked into the mall. Mi Cai led you into a designer clothing store. Buy whatever you want today. I will foot the bill. You looked helpless. I have clothes of my own. You really do not need to buy me any. No. Mi Cai cut you off. As my man, you are dressed far too shabbily. Are you trying to embarrass me? She directly instructed the saleswoman beside her. Bring out everything in your store. All the newest men's styles. Use my man's size. As she spoke, Mi Cai pointed at you. The saleswoman gave you a surprised look. At his age, he had already hit the jackpot in life, she thought. How enviable. After roughly taking your measurements, she asked you to rest on the sofa while she went to get the clothes. Mi Cai took your hand again and sat with you on the sofa, her body pressed tightly against yours, without the slightest gap between you. Tilting her head, she looked at you and smiled. How does it feel being kept by a rich woman? The corner of your mouth twitched. It is nothing special, but Mi Cai kept teasing you. You are all talk. You must be thrilled inside. After all, a rich woman as beautiful and wealthy as me, you would be hard-pressed to find another. You could not argue with that. If only her violent streak were not so severe, you thought, she really would be quite a catch. Mi Cai snorted. It was not easy for me to find a man I actually liked. If I let you run away, how could I ever show my face in Shanghai's high society again? Hearing that, you looked at Mi Cai curiously. So, by the sound of it, have you never had a boyfriend before? Mi Cai's smile faded. Calmly, she asked, do you wish I had? For the first time, Mi Cai looked at you with such calm eyes. As if possessed, you answered, of course not. The moment the words left your mouth, it was already too late when you realized what you had said. A sly smile appeared on Mi Cai's face. She affectionately wrapped herself around your arm. Do not worry. You are my first boyfriend, and you will be my last. Just then, the saleswoman came from the stockroom, pushing a rolling clothes rack. It was filled with a dazzling array of men's clothing, all elegantly designed. They were clearly the work of master designers. Miss Me, these are all our new summer collections for this year. Please, take your pick. Mi Cai crooked a finger at you, beckoning you over. You obediently got up and walked over. Then you took several outfits into the fitting room. Just as you were about to close the door, Mi Cai followed you inside. Your face changed. Why you? Why did you come in? Mi Cai shut the fitting room door, then calmly sat in the chair inside. With her arms folded, she watched you. She smiled faintly. Of course, I am afraid you will run away. The corner of your mouth twitched. This fitting room does not even have a window, you thought. Could that lie be any more obvious? She clearly just wanted to watch me change. Mi Cai rolled her eyes at you. Smiling, she stretched out a long, fair leg and lightly nudged you. What are you looking at? Hurry up and change. Then I can see whether they fit. At that moment, you were incredibly grateful there were no underwear in that pile. Otherwise, you might have lost your innocence here today. So, you slowly took off your shirt, revealing your well-defined physique. The sight made Mi Cai unconsciously lick the corner of her lips. Her burning stare made you uncomfortable. You quickly changed into the clothes, afraid this woman would not be able to restrain herself and have her way with you right there. Mi Cai, sitting nearby, showed a hint of disappointment. She had not seen enough yet, and it was already over. But when she thought of going home tonight and taking her time looking, and even getting handsy, her heart filled with delight. Then, she fixed her gaze on you, now changed into your new clothes. It had to be said, clothes really do make the man. In a new outfit, you instantly looked completely different. You even had a slightly roguish charm. She could not take it anymore. Mi Cai grabbed your collar and pulled you close. Her red lips immediately covered yours. Your eyes flew wide open. All you could do was make muffled sounds. By the time you left the mall, night had already fallen. Looking at the bright moon hanging in the dark sky, you suddenly realized how unusually peaceful the afternoon had been. In the past, you would probably be back in your dorm, getting ready for bed. But, when you were with Mi Cai, time seemed to be on fast forward, passing incredibly quickly. Mi Cai teased. So, how is it? Being with me has made you much happier inside, has it not? You stubbornly shot back. Being with you is what has been torturing me. Mi Cai snorted coldly and shut the car door. Then she expertly sat on your lap, wrapping her arms around your neck. The red Maybach drove off into the distance. Mi Cai rested her face against your chest, listening to your steady breathing. Her lips curved upward. He fell asleep before we even got home, she thought. What a lazy pick. She gently laid you down, resting your head in her lap, so you could sleep more comfortably. By then, there were no other cars on the road. The driver's expression suddenly changed. Miss, something is wrong. The bodyguards in the car behind them also sensed something was off. They hurried out of their vehicle and formed a protective perimeter around the red Maybach. Bright headlights shone from nearby. 3 vans came speeding toward them, stopping with a screech of tires. More than a dozen masked men climbed out. They surrounded you completely. One man shouted, "Miss me, stop hiding. Come out and have some fun with us." Before you could understand what was happening, Mi Cai cupped your face in her hands. She looked at you solemnly. "In a moment, I will open a gap for you. Run the moment you get the chance. Do not look back. Remember, whatever you do, do not look back. Understand?" You finally noticed the thugs surrounding the car. They were clearly here for Mi Cai. After giving those instructions, Mi Cai pushed open the door and stepped out. Her cold eyes swept over the kidnappers around her. There were 14 of them in all. Every one of them held a knife. There were barely any surveillance cameras on the street. This was clearly a carefully planned kidnapping. This sort of situation was not the first Mi Cai had faced. Her mind remained perfectly clear. She stared coldly at the scar-faced man in charge. "How much do you want?" The scar-faced man sneered. "As expected of the Mi family's eldest daughter. You are still so calm at a time like this. We need Miss Mi to come with us. Do not worry. Once we get the money, we will release you at once." Mi Cai took a knife from one of her bodyguards. A murderous glint flickered in her eyes. Then there is nothing left to discuss. The 3 bodyguards and the driver stepped forward, shielding their young mistress behind them. They watched the men warily. The scar-faced man's gaze turned icy. His men, who had been waiting eagerly, immediately closed in with cruel smiles. Soon, shouts and battle cries rang out beyond the car. It was your first time witnessing anything like this. Trembling inside, you pressed yourself to the car window and peeked out. The next second, your face went pale. Outside was complete chaos. One bodyguard moved with brutal efficiency, snapping one thug's neck. But moments later, a knife plunged into his waist from behind. The sight drained the color from your lips. Your legs nearly gave out beneath you. Mi Cai was holding off 2 attackers by herself, without yielding an inch. Then, with one clean strike, she stabbed one of the attackers. She shouted toward you in the car, "Now, go." Without hesitation, you shoved open the car door and ran. Your phone was in your hand as you called the police. Seeing this, the scar-faced man darkened and roared, "What are you idiots doing? Finish these people now. If the police get here, we are all finished." His men charged together at once. This time, they fought with reckless, life-or-death ferocity. Before long, the bodyguards and driver could no longer hold out. Mi Cai's expression turned grim as well. She knew this might truly be the end. But when she thought of you having escaped, relief welled up inside her. Maybe this was not so bad. At least that idiot is safe. You ran for your life, scanning the surroundings nonstop, desperate to find someone to help. But you did not see a single person along the way. It was far too strange. Even in a wealthy neighborhood, there should not have been no one around. Then, you spotted an intersection in the distance. A construction sign stood there, guarded by a masked man. Your heart trembled. You quickly hid behind a street lamp. After watching him in secret for a while, you were certain he was definitely with the kidnappers. You quickly considered your options. You were no match for that man, but taking a detour would waste precious time. By the time you found help and returned, it might already be too late. You did not dare think any further. Yet the bloody scene from moments ago would not leave your mind. The next person lying in a pool of blood could be Mi Cai. At that thought, you slapped yourself hard. You cursed, "You worthless coward. You actually left a woman behind and ran. Even if she is not your girlfriend, you have at least been intimate with her." Gritting your teeth, you turned and ran back the way you came. Madness and ruthlessness flashed in your eyes. As you raced down the silent, deserted street, you suddenly laughed. "That crazy woman must have rubbed off on me," you thought. "How else could I have such a suicidal, insane idea?" Meanwhile, things were looking bleak. Under the bright streetlights, only one bodyguard remained, still standing in front of Mi Cai. But he had reached his limit. Blood streamed from the wound on his arm. Since the fight began, nearly 20 minutes had passed. Given the situation, waiting for police backup was nothing but wishful thinking. The scar-faced man clearly did not want to waste any more time. He signaled his to remaining men, and all 3 charged forward. "Miss, I will hold them off. Run," the bodyguard shouted. But Mi Cai stubbornly shook her head, clenching her fists. She refused to flee like this. She knew it was already too late to escape. The charging Scarface man sneered. His muscular frame easily slipped past the bodyguard. As he rushed toward Mi Cai behind him, he drove a vicious punch at her face, showing her no mercy whatsoever. Mi Cai clearly had more real combat experience. She dipped slightly, dodging the punch. Then she kicked at the Scarface man's groin. However, the Scarface man easily caught Mi Cai's leg. With a violent burst of strength, he hurled her into the wall beside them. Mi Cai slammed hard into the wall and crumpled to the ground. Her gaze remained icy, locked on the Scarface man approaching her. By then, the Scarface man's face wore a triumphant smile. "Miss me. If you want to keep that pretty face intact, I suggest you stop struggling. What if my hand slips and I accidentally cut your face? That boy who ran away might be disgusted just looking at you. Who would want to marry an ugly freak?" But as he took out a bundle of rope to tie Mi Cai's hands, a flash of silver streaked through the air, piercing the Scarfaced man's palm. "You filthy bitch." The Scarfaced man clutched his injured left hand. His face twisted with growing rage. She had clearly pushed him too far. "Fine. Since you are so eager to die, I will grant your wish." He picked up the bloodied knife from the ground and thrust it toward Mi Cai's abdomen. Mi Cai no longer had any strength left. For the first time, fear appeared in her eyes. Helplessly, she closed her eyes. With a ripping sound, warm liquid dripped onto Mi Cai's face. She instinctively opened her eyes. Her pupils suddenly contracted. You were standing in front of her, shielding her. Mi Cai stared at you in disbelief. Her voice trembling, she asked, "Why did you come back?" A knife had stabbed you in the abdomen. Blood dripped steadily from the wound onto the ground. Enduring the agony, you slashed your knife at the Scarfaced man's throat. The Scarfaced man reacted quickly, easily dodging it. He sneered, "I never thought a pretty boy like you would dare come back. You must really like this bitch." But the next second, his foot slipped. He instantly lost his balance and crashed to the ground. At some point, a banana peel had appeared beneath his foot. You did not let the opportunity slip away. Ignoring the searing pain, you lunged fiercely at the Scarfaced man. In the end, you stared dazedly into the dark night sky. You had never imagined there would come a day when you would risk your life for someone else. In the morning, a ray of sunlight streamed through the window into the hospital room. Wearing a thin dress, Mi Cai lay slumped beside the bed, still fast asleep. You wore a hospital gown, and your complexion had improved somewhat. Groggily, you opened your eyes and looked in confusion at the white ceiling. A dull pain throbbed in your abdomen, making you more alert at once. You remembered what happened before you passed out and felt a lingering wave of fear. It seemed you had been taken to the hospital. You looked again at Mi Cai sleeping beside your bed and nudged her helplessly. Mi Cai sat up, rubbing her eyes. Then delight flashed in her eyes. "You're awake." You nodded. You asked calmly, "How long was I unconscious?" "Just one day." Mi Cai gazed at you intensely and asked, "Why did you come back?" You answered flatly, "Maybe I went crazy. I was not thinking straight." "What happened to the kidnappers?" "Do not worry. The police arrived afterward and took them all away, apparently worried that you would blame yourself for killing someone." Mi Cai hurried to reassure you. "As for that Scarfaced man, he died at the scene. But do not let it bother you. Trash like him. Good riddance." He was also a wanted fugitive, with more than a dozen deaths on his hands. "You are a hero now." Your eyes suddenly lit up. Excitedly, you asked, "I am the one who took him down. So I get the reward money, right?" Mi Cai was speechless. "And here I was trying to comfort you. After all that, all you can think about is the reward money." Faced with your expectant gaze, she nodded anyway. "That guy's reward is as high as 100,000. Happy now." But what you said next made her furious on the spot. You shouted excitedly in the hospital room, $100,000. That saves me years of struggle." Mi Cai frowned at that. She grabbed your ear. "As my boyfriend, what do you need money for? Do you have other ideas?" "Whatever you want. Can I not just buy it for you? As long as you marry me, half my family's fortune will be yours." Deep down, you were still happily calculating that 100,000. You did not take Mi Cai's words to heart at all. Only a fool would marry her, you thought. For that little inheritance, you would be risking your life. That was not a deal worth making. Mi Cai's eyes instantly turned cold. She slipped straight under the covers, hugged you, and said fiercely, "Let me tell you. Alive, you are mine. Dead, you are still mine. Forget about that 100,000. I am confiscating every cent. With that, she leaned in to kiss you. But you dodged before she could. You said, well, I think between us, we should keep a little distance, okay? What could you possibly see in a poor guy like me? Moments later, your screams rang through the hospital room. Stop, stop, I was wrong. I really was. After fooling around for a while, Mi Cai rested her face against your chest, looking utterly satisfied. Still wanting more, she licked the corner of her mouth. You had no choice but to hold her soft waist. There were the handprints on your face, and red marks on your neck. You looked rather miserable. You suddenly asked, do you not need to go back to class? Mi Cai curled her lips. Caressing your face, she said, of course I do. And not just me. You are going to. You asked in confusion. I applied to study independently. I do not have to attend school. No. Mi Cai pressed a finger to your lips, smiling smugly. I use my connections to revoke your independent study status. So, once you recover, you will obediently come to school with me. You were completely dumbfounded. Your voice rose. What? I worked so hard to rank first and earn that chance to study independently. And you just canceled it. What? You are unhappy about it. Mi Cai shot you a glance. Her hand beneath the covers seized your crotch. Your whole body went limp. And you lay there, wanting to cry but with no tears to shed. When you glanced down, you noticed something that made you swallow hard. Mi Cai slightly raised her head and caught the heat in your gaze. The corner of her mouth lifted. She leaned her body closer to yours, feeling that softness. Your Adam's apple bobbed uncontrollably. You looked away, forcing down your restless desire. This early in the morning, who could possibly handle this? Mi Cai forcibly turned your head back. She leaned close and stared into your eyes. Your little friend seems to have very naughty thoughts. Call me your wife, and I will help you out. How about it? No, no need. For some reason, you felt guilty. Really? Mi Cai's eyes were full of amusement. She kept teasing you with her body. Her red lips hovered by your ear, and she purred, last chance. Are you going to say it or not? As she spoke, she took your hand and placed it on her thigh. Her lips kept breathing softly against your ear. Are you going to say it? Under her pressure, you finally forced out that word. She smiled with satisfaction. Good boy. Then I will give you a little reward. Their interaction continued for a full 2.5 hours. Mi Cai tossed the crumpled tissues into the trash. She told you, you have had your reward. Starting today, you are mine. Understand? After this brush with death, you had gained some perspective. You thought, I am not even afraid of death. So, why would I fear one crazy woman? Fine, we will date. Fine, we will date. Bring it on. Mi Cai felt a surge of joy too. She could tell that you were beginning to accept her. She thought, I have chased you for so long. And it was not all for nothing after all. Thinking this, Mi Cai suddenly sat upright. She looked at you seriously and said, promise me, if anything this dangerous happens again, you will do as I say. You nodded half-heartedly. Mi Cai knew you had not taken it to heart, but there was nothing she could do. She thought to herself, these past few days, her security had indeed grown to lax lately. For a bunch of third-rate kidnappers to threaten her was a disgrace, was simply humiliating. Meanwhile, you stared blankly at the white ceiling. So, I have a girlfriend now, and she is a wealthy heiress, too. Life really is unpredictable. Just a few days ago, your goal had been to earn scholarship money, then open a shop after graduation and live out your days in peace. Yet just days later, you had somehow landed a rich woman. The only downside, perhaps, was that this rich heiress had quite a fiery temper. You would probably have plenty to suffer through from now on. As soon as Mi Cai helped you back to the villa, a middle-aged man in a sharp suit was inside, waiting for quite some time. Mi Cai asked expressionlessly, Dad, why are you here? The man she called Dad, Miyaoan, was imposing even without showing anger. His gaze lingered on you for several seconds, then shifted back to Mi Cai. I heard you ran into kidnappers, so I came to check on you. You were not hurt, were you? I'm fine, Mi Cai replied coldly, then helped you upstairs. Miyaoan did not stop her. He silently watched his daughter help a strange man into the second-floor bedroom. Whatever he was thinking, he let out a sigh. Mi Cai helped you sit on the edge of the bed. She warned, stay upstairs. I will be back soon. You had better not let me catch you eavesdropping. Otherwise, you are done for. You watched Mi Cai leave, curious about the relationship between father and daughter. The moment you considered listening at the door, you heard the bedroom door lock from the outside. Down in the first-floor living room, Mi Cai stood before her father, her face utterly unfriendly. What are you doing here? Mi Yawen was long used to his daughter's attitude. That boy is called Yunmo, right? I investigated him. His family runs a restaurant. They are a modestly comfortable family at best. I do not know why you like him. But listen to your father. You two are not from the same world. The atmosphere in the living room suddenly turned several degrees colder. Mi Cai's expression did not change, but her voice grew more impatient. Did you come all this way just to tell me this nonsense? Mi Yawen met Mi Cai's gaze. I am doing this for your own good, and for his as well. You and he are worlds apart. Enough. Anger glinted in Mi Cai's cold eyes. Get out. You are not welcome here. Mi Yawen ultimately shook his head. He walked out of the villa. One day, you will understand. Your mother, and I only want what is best for you. The villa's front door slowly closed. Mi Cai was left standing alone in the living room. A flash of helplessness crossed her eyes, then vanished. In the second-floor bedroom, you lay on the soft, spacious bed, resting with your eyes closed. Suddenly, a lovely figure rushed toward you. Seeing Mi Cai throw herself onto you, you froze for a moment. What is wrong with this woman? Mi Cai held you tightly, her voice trembling slightly. Do not move. Just let me hold you like this for a while. Though you wondered what had happened, you felt tears soaking your shoulder. After hesitating, you chose to hold her back. You held each other for over half an hour, until steady breathing came from the person in your arms. She had actually fallen asleep on top of you. You muttered to yourself, then gently helped Mi Cai onto the bed, and tucked her beneath the covers. She lay on the bed with her eyes closed. Tiny tears still clung to the corners of her eyes. She had clearly just been crying. You reached out and wiped away her tears. Looking at her peaceful sleeping face, you truly could not understand what exactly had happened to make someone like Mi Cai shed tears. Sleep, you thought. After some sleep, all your sadness will fade away. Hopefully, once she realized how well you had cared for her, she would go a little easier on you in the future. Mi Cai groggily opened her eyes. She found herself lying alone in bed, and a trace of disappointment filled her eyes. A self-deceiving smile appeared on her lips. Just as I thought, he still cannot accept me. Am I really that unlikable? Just as Mi Cai lay in bed, quietly feeling down, footsteps suddenly sounded outside the door. You entered the bedroom carrying a fragrant bowl of noodles. As you turned around, you found Mi Cai staring straight at you. Instinctively, you pulled back the hand holding the bowl. If you want some, make your own. I am the patient here. Seeing how possessive you were over your food, Mi Cai let out an exasperated laugh. She crooked a finger at you and patted the spot beside her. Come here, she ordered in a tone that allowed no argument. You hesitated for a moment, but limped over anyway. With a calm expression, Mi Cai took the fragrant noodles from your hands. Not bad. Just what I would expect from my man. You are quite the cook. Seeing your resentful look, Mi Cai picked up some noodles and held them to your lips. You immediately dodged away. Forget it. I will make another bowl. Seeing the flash of disgust in your eyes, Mi Cai reached out and pinched your cheek. I am in a very good mood right now. Provoking me at a time like this is not a wise decision. As she spoke, she pushed the noodles in her hand closer to your mouth. Eat. If you dare leave even a drop of broth today, you will regret it. But you have already eaten from that. You looked uneasily at the noodles by your mouth, but Mi Cai's gaze grew colder and colder, as though she were about to explode. Helplessly, you opened your mouth. After you had eaten and drunk your fill, you lay back under the covers. Mi Cai closed her eyes and held you. Sleep a little longer, she said softly. I still have to go to school this morning. You're coming with me. You thought indignantly. What does you going to school have to do with me? I am a patient right now. Under the covers, Mi Cai patted your waist. Be good. If you do not want to suffer, obey me. You were angry, but did not dare say a word. You fumed inwardly. What a damn woman. And after all that trouble you took to help her into bed, you should have kicked her right under the bed. At 8 in the morning, you had only just managed to fall asleep. When Mi Cai forcibly dragged you out of bed, you got in the car and headed for Modu University. Just as usual, Mi Cai sat right on your lap. You weakly wrapped your arms around her waist and complained. Why do you insist on going to school? Do not tell me you are going there to study. Mi Cai smiled brightly. Do you know the student council? I plan to have you join it. You immediately refused. I am not going. You thought. This time, you absolutely could not let this woman force you again. After all, you would start your internship in your 3rd year and only return to campus occasionally. Before Mi Cai could speak, you firmly continued, "Give it up. Even if you beat me to death, I will never join the student council." Mi Cai sat up slightly and raised two fingers. You looked confused. "What does that mean?" 20,000 yuan. As long as you join the student council, I'll give you 20,000 yuan in spending money. And when you are a junior, I will find you an easy job where you can coast. How about it? The offer left you feeling insulted. You said, "Do I look like someone who would cave for a measly 20,000? When I say no, I mean no. Forget about it." Mi Cai said regretfully. "All right, then, 20,000 yuan a month in spending money is the most I can offer." "What?" Your sleepy mind instantly snapped awake. Just by joining the student council, you could get 20,000 yuan every month. No matter how you looked at it, that was a great deal. "Sis, I'm in. I will join." You immediately grabbed Mi Cai and grinned. Seeing how money-hungry you looked, a teasing smile curled Mi Cai's lips. She felt she had found your weakness. If I had known earlier, back then, I could have just thrown 2 stacks of cash in his face. Why did I waste so much effort making him accept me? When you arrived at Modu University, Mi Cai got out first. The instant she appeared, she drew every student's attention. "Look, it is Mi Cai. Senior Mi Cai is gorgeous. I wish she were my girlfriend. Then let her coldly torment me every day. Come on." Mi Cai held out her hand to you. On her fair, faintly pink face was a gentle smile. While everyone was still shocked by who you were, you naturally took Mi Cai's small hand. Then the two of you walked through the gates together. Holy crap, who is that fearless guy? He is actually being so intimate with the Mi family's eldest daughter. Is he not afraid Su Qingqing will come after him? That guy is finished. Knowing Su Qingqing, he definitely will not let him off easily. You and Mi Cai went straight to the student council office. Hearing the commotion, a girl looked up. She gave Mi Cai a slightly nervous smile. "President, what brings you here today?" "President," you looked at Mi Cai in surprise. "No wonder you insisted I join the student council. So that is why. You are the student council president." Mi Cai looked at you strangely. "What else would I be? Did you not attend the freshman ceremony?" You scratched your head awkwardly. "I think I called in sick that day and played games in my dorm all day. Besides, my social circle is tiny, so it is normal that I did not know." Mi Cai gave you a speechless look. Then she pointed at the girl and said, "That is Shenyu. She is one of the student council's only 2 members. Her personality is a little complicated, but she is exceptionally capable." The girl named Shenyu shyly held out her hand. "Hello, I am Shenyu. Like you and the president, I am also a sophomore." You had just started to offer your hand when Shenyu smiled proudly and said, "Also, when you went hiking last time, I was the one who hacked your phone and told the president." The corner of your mouth twitched. Now you understood what Mi Cai meant by her complicated personality. You thought, "You little jerk, you got me punished by Mi Cai. And now you are telling me with a smile that you were the real culprit. Where is everyone else on the student council?" You looked over the student council office. Seeing Shenyu was the only one working, you asked in confusion, "There is no one else?" Mi Cai took off her shoes and placed her snow-white feet on your lap, including you. The entire student council has only 3 people in total, so there is always plenty to do. You were speechless. A student council with only 3 people. It was remarkable that she could keep the organization running normally. Just then, Shenyu approached with a blank application form. "This is the student council application form. Welcome aboard, Vice President Yunmo." You stared at Mi Cai in shock. "I am the vice president already." Mi Cai gave a soft hum. "Hurry up and fill out the form. Then get to work. If your performance disappoints me, I will dock your pay." Seeing that mischievous smile on her face, you suddenly began to regret your decision. You felt a little regret. You thought, "Is this a trap?" After Shenyu explained things, you gained a basic understanding of student council work. She said, "The school is holding a fireworks festival in a few days, so I have been pretty busy lately. If there is anything else you do not understand, come ask me later." You nodded and thanked her. You knew about the fireworks festival. It was an annual tradition at Modu University, held especially to welcome new students. It had now been a month since the semester began. It really was time to begin preparing this year's festival. Mi Cai smiled. "Got it. All right, let us go. It is so hot out. I want to take a soak." thinking of Mi Cai's perfect figure. Your mind, involuntarily filled with certain indecent images. A flicker of embarrassment crossed your face. Mi Cai had already wrapped herself around your arm and pulled you outside. Feeling that soft touch against your arm, you instinctively swallowed. Your whole body grew warm. In the car, Mi Cai lay on top of you as usual. Her wandering hand traced circles across your chest. You shuddered. You thought, is this really okay? Could this woman be planning to do it here? But Mi Cai's tone was rather cold. You shook hands with Shen Yu just now, did you not? When did I give you permission to shake hands with other girls? Not even if she is my friend. As she spoke, she sharply slapped the wound at your waist. Your pupils constricted. You sucked in a sharp breath, nearly crying out from the pain. You could not help thinking, it was only a handshake. She was jealous over that. Mi Cai's voice instantly turned icy. You are my boyfriend now, without my permission. You cannot have any intimate contact with another woman. With that, she wrapped her arms around your neck and kissed you greedily. The sudden kiss left you at a loss. You reached out to push her away, but seeing the madness in her eyes, you could not help feeling afraid. I hope this is the last time I have to warn you. Her voice sounded against your lips. Do not have anything intimate with any woman besides me. Otherwise, I will make you understand how helpless a canary trapped in an iron cage can be. Only then did you realize that your girlfriend was not merely a little domineering. She might be dangerously obsessive too. The driver stared straight at the road ahead, not daring to glance at the rearview mirror. You could not resist Mi Cai's assault at all. You could only let her take whatever she wanted. After an unknown amount of time, Mi Cai finally stopped, satisfied. We have only just gotten together, so I will let you off this time. Learn your lesson. I hope there will not be a next time. Her voice echoed beside your ear, making you shudder uncontrollably. A chill ran through you. If there was a next time, would this woman actually want to kill me? Meanwhile, in a dorm room at Modu University, Ruyan stared anxiously at her phone screen. A few minutes later, her phone gave a slight buzz. When she saw the OK emoji you had sent, she instantly relaxed. The Modu high-end bathhouse was part of Mi Cai's family business. Everything here was top of the line. Even the bathwater was infused with expensive medicinal herbs. After replying to the message, you put your phone in a wooden locker. With only a towel around your waist, you headed toward the entrance. Mi Cai lay contentively in the herbal bath with her eyes closed. She raised one smooth, delicate hand, water droplets falling steadily from her palm and sending ripples across the surface. You slowly approached the edge of the bath. Whatever you saw, you instantly flushed red. You quickly turned around, putting your back to Mi Cai. Why are you not wearing anything? You thought. What the hell? Has this woman lost her mind? She was actually this bold. Mi Cai turned to look at you. Narrowing her eyes, she softly said, what is the big deal? We are boyfriend and girlfriend. So, what if you see me? It was your first time seeing such a sensual sight. For someone who was still innocent in matters of romance, it was far too overwhelming. A clear splash sounded behind you, then two wet hands wrapped around your waist, pulling you into an embrace. Water continued dripping from them. Mi Cai whispered by your ear, why are you still so shy even now? Did you not enjoy it when I helped you before? You looked utterly aggrieved. You thought, damn it, this woman was deliberately trying to tease me. Do you still want my help? Mi Cai's voice echoed in your ear again, like a demon's whisper. You hurriedly shook your head. You had to be kidding. If it happened here, you could not promise you would control yourself. You thought, if we really went that far, this woman would have control over me for the rest of my life. Are you sure? A captivating smile curved Mi Cai's lips. She held you tightly and rubbed herself against you. It was like an electric shock struck you. Your body instantly went rigid. Your mind grew hazy, filled with countless wild thoughts. You quickly pleaded, Mi Cai. I am begging you. We are still in college. We really cannot do that. At that, Mi Cai's pent-up dissatisfaction erupted completely. She thought, fine, he rejected me once, but this is the second time. He is asking for it. The next second, she shoved you straight into the bath. You had just opened your mouth to speak when you gulped down a mouthful of bathwater. Your eyes turned red from choking. The towel around your waist also slipped into Mi Cai's hand. She casually glanced at it, then tossed the towel aside. Then she jumped into the bath herself. After an unknown amount of time, inside the steam-filled bath, Mi Cai rested in your arms. She softly murmured, just as I thought. Everything men say is a lie. Did you not just say you did not need it? Your face flushed deep red. You could not argue with Mi Cai. You could only hold her tighter. Mi Cai secretly cast you a sidelong glance, quietly pleased with herself. She knew that, after something so intimate had happened between them, you would never be able to shake her off again. She thought with a scoff. Man, you cannot escape my grasp now. On the athletic field at Modu University, Qingqing looked through the messages on his phone, a knowing smile appearing on his face. He gazed into the distance, at the white clouds drifting through the sky, and murmured, Mooch. How interesting. This is troublesome. Someone got to my fiancé before I did. What is a fiancé like me supposed to do now? At that moment, Mi Cai was in your arms, secretly pleased with herself. Man, you cannot escape my grasp now. Early the next morning, you used changing your bandages at the hospital as an excuse, and slipped out alone. You headed straight for Modu Chuangshi exhibition hall. Ruyan was standing outside the gallery, wearing a carefully chosen, snow-white short-sleeved shirt. It perfectly outlined her gorgeous figure. A beauty like her stood at the gallery entrance, naturally drawing every passerby's attention. You jogged over from a distance, afraid Mi Cai would catch you sneaking out. You were dressed extremely casually. Sorry to keep you waiting, you said apologetically. Then you looked around in confusion. By the way, did Jiboda not say he was coming too? When Ruyan messaged to invite you, she specifically mentioned Jiboda would be there. That was why you agreed so readily. After all, if it were only you and Ruyan, it would feel a little awkward. More importantly, if Mi Cai found out you had come here, you would probably have to kneel on a durian. Without batting an eye, Ruyan made up a lie. He just got a call, and said he had an urgent matter to handle, so he left first. Hearing that, you did not think much of it. Then let us go into. With that, the two of you entered the gallery side by side. This art exhibition looked no different from the usual ones. The paintings displayed in the gallery were probably worth hundreds of thousands each. I remember tickets to Modu Chuangshi exhibition hall are expensive. How did you get 3 tickets? You began to wonder. If you remembered correctly, Ruyan's family circumstances were much like yours. Both were quite ordinary. A ticket to this gallery cost at least several hundred yuan. Ruyan's gaze drifted toward your profile as she casually made up a lie. I was out with friends, and won these in a promotional raffle. In truth, the cost of those tickets was money she had saved by going without for a month, all for today, because she was preparing to do something important. Ruyan stared at a painting of blooming sunflowers before her. She took a deep breath, as if she had made up her mind. Finally, she prepared to speak. Noticing something off about Ruyan's expression, you asked with concern, What is wrong? Do not say anything yet. You had barely begun to speak, when Ruyan abruptly cut you off. Her eyes were filled with resolve. She thought, even if he rejects me, I have to tell him how I feel today. I have liked you for a long time. Will you be my boyfriend? I know you and Mi Cai have grown close, but I have liked you since high school. Your preferences, your temperament, I know them far better than she does, and my feelings for you are no less than Mi Cai's. I care about you more than she does. As soon as she finished speaking, a blush rose to Ruyan's cheeks. She nervously pressed her lips together, quietly waiting for your answer. You were completely stunned. To be honest, you had imagined a moment like this before. I do have feelings for you too, and you do understand me better than that woman does. Meeting Ruyan's gaze, you spoke solemnly. But I am sorry. I cannot say yes. The moment you said that, Ruyan's eyes instantly reddened. Tears rolled down uncontrollably. She choked out, Is it because of Mi Cai? With a heavy heart, you nodded. Perhaps cutting it off cleanly was the best outcome for you both. The commotion around you quickly drew a crowd of curious onlookers. Every kind of look turned toward you. Knowing you could not stay here long, you grabbed Ruyan's wrist and hurried outside. The instant you left the gallery, a flashy red Maybach had already been waiting by the curb. The rear window slid down, revealing Mi Cai's flawless face. Just as you emerged, holding the hand of a tear-streaked Ruyan from the gallery, Mi Cai's gaze swept over you. Her face was so calm, it was terrifying. Caught in this disastrous confrontation, your heart sank. You thought, I am done for. Instinctively, you wanted to take Ruyan over and explain, but you had barely taken a step when Mi Cai's icy voice hit you. I know what you want to say. Get in. We will settle this properly when we get home. You looked at Ruyan beside you, hesitating briefly, but you still let go of her hand. Gently, you comforted her. Do not cry. I will have Jibota come pick you up. With that, you resignedly walked around to the other side of the Maybach, opened the door, and got in. You were met by Mi Cai's beautiful face, cold as ice. With a low growl from the engine, the car slowly pulled away. But Ruyan stared at Mi Cai inside the car. The defiance in her eyes had not faded at all after your rejection. Suddenly, she shouted at Mi Cai in the car. Do not think this means you have won. I hope you'll cherish her. Do not give me any opening. Otherwise, I will not hesitate to take her away from you. Mi Cai's expression turned several degrees colder. She turned her head toward Ruyan and gave a contemptuous snort. If you think you can, come and try taking him. The moment she finished speaking, the red Maybach roared away, leaving the devastated Ruyan behind, leaving Ruyan only its merciless taillights. Watching the car vanish into the distance, Ruyan weakly crouched down. She murmured, so this is what heartbreak feels like. It hurts worse than any bitterness I have ever known. The air inside the car seemed to freeze. You looked at the silent Mi Cai beside you, her face frosty as winter. You forced a faint smile. Why are you here? Jibota was supposed to come, but an urgent matter came up, so he left. So in the end, it was just me. And Ruyan. Really, I was not lying to you. Mi Cai slowly turned toward you. She locked her eyes on yours. Beneath her calm tone, raged anger like an erupting volcano. Do you really think I would believe that nonsense? Why should I believe you? The moment I look away, you run off with another woman to enjoy your little world for two. Is that it? You opened your mouth, but found you could not utter a single word in your defense. Your silent admission made Mi Cai even more furious. I already gave you a chance last time. She spoke one word at a time, as though every syllable carried shards of ice. Prepare to be punished. This time, I will not let you off so easily. Until you learn your lesson. This is not over. A chill ran down your back. You could not stop yourself from shuddering. In the second-floor bedroom of Tianyun Villa, Mi Cai expressionlessly drew the curtains. With a click, she locked the bedroom door. Then she casually tossed the key into the bathroom. Only then did she turn a dark look on you by the bed. You still tried one last defense. You have really misunderstood. But the fury Mi Cai had been suppressing had already exploded. Without another word, she kicked you hard in the stomach. Fear seized your body at once. You kept scrambling backward, until you curled up in the corner, watching her approach in terror. Your voice shook as you protested. No, Ruyan and I really do not have the kind of relationship you think we do. It is all a misunderstanding. Mi Cai closed in on you, step by step. Her voice was bitterly cold. Of course I know there's nothing between you and that woman. But what I am truly angry about is this. You went out with another woman behind my back, and you even dared to hold her hand. Before she finished speaking, Mi Cai's hand had already clamped tightly around your throat. A terrifying murderous glint flashed in her eyes. Through gritted teeth, she said, I was too merciful with you before. That is why you keep daring to make me angry. You have been far too disobedient. The moment she finished, a fist suddenly loomed before your eyes. It came at you fast. You let out a scream. You clutched your eye in pain. Endless resentment churned inside you. The affection you had only recently begun to feel for Mi Cai was shattered in that moment. You had been disastrously wrong. This woman was completely insane. If this continued, she would torment you to death. You suddenly raised your head. You glared fiercely at Mi Cai. The fury and resentment in your eyes were ready to burst forth. Seeing that look on your face, Mi Cai released her grip on your throat. Instead, she stroked your cheek with her warm little hand. An amused curve formed on her lips. What is that look? You are not convinced. That is how this world works. The strong prey on the weak. You cannot fight me. So, all you can do is endure it. But what good will enduring do? You will never be a match for me, and you will never escape my grasp. After saying that, Mi Cai leaned down and forcefully sealed your lips with her alluring red ones. She held your gaze with a provocative look. Under your hate-filled stare, she brutally tore your clothes to shreds. They fell in a messy heap on the floor. You clenched your teeth so hard they nearly broke. You roared, you crazy bitch. No matter how you torture me, it will not change anything. I could never love you. Not in this lifetime. I hope you die a miserable death. Those were perhaps the cruelest words you had ever spoken. Their effect far exceeded anything you expected. That undisguised curse pierced Mi Cai's heart like a sharp blade. She froze where she stood. Blankly, she stared at the disgust and resentment in your eyes. The crazed expression on her face seemed to see someone else in you. It slowly faded away. Mi Cai rose from above you. She looked down at you. Through clenched teeth, she forced out one word out. Hearing that, you froze completely. You looked at her in disbelief. What did Mi Cai mean by that? Was she really going to let you go? Mi Cai lowered her eyes and stared into yours. There was a trace of disgust in her voice, but it did not seem directed at you. It was directed at herself. Get out of my sight now. Go as far away as you can. Do not let me see you again. Completely bewildered, you climbed up from the floor. You could not make sense of what had just happened. 1 moment ago, she had looked ready to torture you to death. How could one insult make her willing to let you go? Forget it. Why overthink it? Getting out while you could was what mattered. You looked down at the shredded clothes on the floor. Helplessly, you could only search the wardrobe for the new clothes Mi Cai had bought you. You quickly changed into them. Without looking back, you rushed out of the villa, afraid that woman would change her mind and drag you back. What you did not know was that, behind a third-floor window of the villa, Mi Cai stood barefoot, coldly watching your retreating figure. A clear tear silently rolled down her cheek. A few minutes later, you looked back at the gates of the villa complex. You were so excited you nearly laughed aloud. You had finally escaped that crazy woman. She was absolutely terrifying. You needed to hurry back and pack your things. Then you would hide out at home for a while. Who knew if that woman would suddenly change her mind? You had barely escaped that hellhole. The last thing you wanted was to be dragged back and tortured again. You had taken only a few steps when the roar of an engine came from afar. A black Porsche came speeding toward you. At first, you paid it no attention. But the next second, with a piercing screech of brakes, the luxury Porsche stopped squarely in front of you. You frowned slightly, unable to guess what the driver wanted. The driver's window slowly rolled down. A face you knew all too well came into view. Miyaoing had a cigarette between his lips. He gave you a lazy glance. Get in. I want to talk. If you dare refuse, I will have you thrown out of Modu University. At that blatant threat, the joy of your narrow escape was instantly doused in ice water. You gritted your teeth and asked, "Do all you rich people enjoy threatening others this much?" Miyaoing smiled and waved a hand. "Do not be so tense. I truly mean you no harm. I just want to talk." You hesitated for a few seconds, but finally opened the rear door and got in. You had no choice. You could not stand up to him. At a trendy cafe in Modu, you and Miyaoing chose a table by the window. Miyaoing took a sip of coffee. In an even tone, he said, "I asked you here today because I wanted to discuss something. But before that, let me ask you a question. I found that your parents moved to Qingqing 20 years ago. Do you know, before that, where did your family live?" You set down your coffee cup, though you did not understand why he was asking. You honestly shook your head. Miyaoing gave you a meaningful look, then sighed. He did not press the matter further. He slowly began, "My wife, Xiaowan's mother, had an accident while giving birth to her. She lost the ability to have children. That means Xiaowan is my only child, and naturally, the Mi group's only heir." As he spoke of the past, a flash of pain and sorrow crossed Miyaoing's eyes. But he continued, "Xiaowan used to be exceptionally cheerful and lively. She was nothing like the person she is now, although she would one day have to shoulder the entire Mi family. We had originally planned to wait until she graduated, before involving her in company matters. But then something happened. We had no choice but to involve her in the group's affairs early. You could even say we forced her to grow up. We hoped she could become independent as quickly as possible." You listened in silence. Your heart stirred uneasily. If Miyaoing was telling the truth, the Mi Cai of the past was completely different from who she was now. Then how had she become this way? Words like cheerful and lively would probably never be associated with Mi Cai, that crazy woman, for as long as she lived.